It was a quiet suburban night in America. Everything looked calm, but in places like this, silence often hides pressure beneath the surface. Ethan Carter lived in a modern neighborhood where every house looked safe and perfectly maintained, yet rules behind the scenes were strict and controlling. Inside his home, security systems ran quietly in the background, watching every corner without interruption. Earlier that day, he had received a notice from the Homeowners Association, claiming violations that didn't fully make sense to him. Ethan didn't react immediately. He had learned over time that emotional reactions often create bigger problems than the situation itself. Outside, the neighborhood remained still under soft street lights, giving the illusion of complete peace. His home was not just protected by locks, but by a full security system connected to every entry point. Two trained security dogs moved silently through the house, always alert but disciplined in their behavior. As midnight passed, the environment became even quieter, almost unreal in its stillness. Ethan was resting, but his system remained active, continuously monitoring any movement around the property. Without warning, the system detected motion outside the front perimeter. A silent alert appeared on his device, immediately shifting the atmosphere from calm to alert. Ethan opened his eyes and checked the notification with complete focus, avoiding any sudden movement. He understood that every second mattered. When unknown activity appeared near a secured home, his dogs reacted first, standing up quietly, their attention fixed toward the entrance. Outside, a figure stood near the front door, not hiding, but also not announcing full intention clearly. Ethan moved carefully, keeping his steps controlled and quiet as he approached the situation. He reviewed the live camera feed, analyzing the person's posture and behavior before taking any action. A firm knock broke the silence, sharp and intentional, not random or accidental. Ethan stood behind the door, maintaining distance while assessing the situation. Through the security system, the person outside was identified as a representative from the Homeowners Association. She held official papers and demanded immediate compliance regarding property rules. Her tone carried authority, but Ethan remained calm, not reacting emotionally to pressure. His dogs stayed behind him, alert but controlled, reinforcing the security of the home. Ethan understood this wasn't a physical threat, but a conflict of authority and control. He chose not to open the door immediately, prioritizing verification over reaction. The situation outside remained tense, with repeated demands for access and cooperation. Ethan continued to observe quietly, ensuring every detail was recorded by his system. The HOA representative insisted that rules required immediate entry and inspection, but Ethan knew legal boundaries mattered as much as neighborhood rules. He maintained silence, letting the situation reveal its own direction. Minutes passed with no resolution, increasing pressure outside the door. Inside, Ethan remained composed, relying on preparation rather than emotion. His dogs shifted slightly, but remained disciplined under his command. The system continued recording everything for legal protection if needed. Outside, frustration began to show in the representative's voice. Ethan finally spoke calmly through the door, asking for proper identification and legal clarification. The demand for access without proper process was not something he accepted blindly. Brief silence followed as the situation became more serious in tone. The representative attempted to justify authority through HOA regulations. Ethan understood that rules existed, but they still had to follow legal structure. He remained firm, refusing to allow pressure to override proper procedure. The tension outside slowly increased, but Ethan stayed completely controlled. His focus was on documentation, evidence, and lawful response. The situation was no longer just about a notice, but about boundaries being tested. Ethan made it clear that any entry required proper legal process. The representative eventually stepped back slightly, realizing resistance was stronger than expected. Inside the house, calm slowly began to return, but awareness remained high. Ethan stayed alert, knowing conflicts like this often don't end quickly. He reviewed every recording again to ensure accuracy and protection. The neighborhood outside remained silent, Unaware of the confrontation that had just taken place, Ethan understood this was only the beginning of a larger issue with the HOA. He prepared himself mentally for what would come next, knowing escalation was possible. But he also knew one thing clearly. His home was not something that could be controlled without limits, and as the night slowly moved forward, Ethan stayed ready, calm, and fully aware of his rights. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.